So today we're going to review one of my favorite underrated prospects, Isaiah Stevens from Colorado State. I was actually watching David Roddy when this guy caught my eye, where you can immediately notice that he is a very good scoring guard. He's a pure point guard, really, at 6 foot. But just look at his ability to just keep his dribble alive. That's one of the main things that I was watching when seeing this guy. His ability to keep his dribble alive and his ability to be a free-level scorer literally freezes the defense. I mean, he's a pretty effective finisher to him. He's a 3-year player at Colorado State. He's improved his three-point shot literally almost every year. I think 1 year was at 38%, the other 2 years were like at top 40%. So he's a great shooter, and he understands how to use his small body and a compact frame to be able to finish, like with this floater here. And then you can also run him off screens and he'll be able to hit this mid-range shot. When you're a small guard, you have to be able to utilize your handles and misdirection to get to where you want on the floor. Here he gets the end one on the blocking foul, and then he's able to pull up again from three. But really, as great as his offense was, when I was watching Colorado State games, he's a very smart defender, knows where to be, he's stout in his body. You really can't break him off of a screen. He's not going to get, like, overly great defensive numbers, but he'll always be effective and he'll always be there on the defensive end. So he's a two-way guard who could be effective defensively and just a monster offensively. As you know, the Sixers are missing a backup point guard, and just to have a backup point guard who can shoot the free ball like Isaiah Stevens does, I think that would help out a lot. And of course, his ability to dribble the ball, because let's face it, if there's anything that we have seen over the past couple of years, the Sixers in dribbling the ball is a rare art, and Isaiah Stevens is able to do that. He's able to dribble the ball. So that combination of shooting and dribbling, I think that those are just major assets to a team. And then the ability to stop on a dime and pull up like that. And there are not many guards who can actually do things like that. You know, in the NBA in general, but definitely not on this team. You see there with Bush layup. He's able to read the screen, take a defender where he wants, pull up mid-range, pop it down. I just like how he plays the game with a sense of pace and a sense of understanding where he wants to go with the ball. It's just an underrated skill to have. He's able to come off the screen there and finish the reverse top layup. Like, he plays a bit taller than his 6-foot frame suggests to be able to finish some of these. I'm not sure if he'll be able to finish at the next level, but I do know that his court vision and passing will definitely be there, along with his jump shot. If I had to be pressed to give a player comparison, it's very similar to Peyton Pritchard out of Oregon. You know, Peyton Pritchard was a 3-year senior who was also a very excellent 3-and-D point guard. But because as a 3-and-D guard, I'll just say that position is a very vital position, but it's a very unsexy one. So normally these type of guards will stay 2 or 3 years. And then you have these scouts saying, oh, you're 21, you're 22, and it's the new 45. For some stupid reason. As you know on this channel, I disagree with that notion. That's not how I scout. I scout based on, do you have NBA traits? And that's especially an NBA move right there, to be able to stop on a dime and then give it to your teammate. Could have easily shot it himself, but he went for his teammate. And that shows the mentality and the mindset of a point guard to get other people involved. And I just think that he has that aggressive mentality on the ball as well. It's a very different type of prospect than Alondas. Alondas, for example, was more of this Russell Westbrook, John Wall level athlete, and he could create that way. Whereas Isaiah Stevens is a more traditional, I'm going to pull up from 18, 24 feet. I'm going to use my hesitation dribble to get where I want with the ball. Both styles of play are generally effective. Obviously, for the Sixers particularly, I guess if you were to break these two guards down, and if you were more interested in an immediate win-now type of move, Stevens' ability to shoot the ball gets him the edge, and his playmaking is more than adequate. Like Alondas, Isaiah Stevens is another guy who's going to have to go through the combine process, going to have to play his way into a draft slot, which I feel is unfair because If you are as productive, see, productivity is a big thing for me. If you're as productive as he was in 3 years, 3 point shooting 3 years, 4+ assists 2 out of 3 years. So he's a playmaker, he's a scorer, and to me, and obviously he's a shooter. He even gets to the line a bit, averages 3 feet for the game. I feel like he could be better with that as he learns how to draw more contact and finish. But really, just his overall game and potential, I think he is a player that should be drafted. I don't see why he shouldn't. Like, that ability to pull up lulls the defender to sleep and allows him to really change direction like that. Not many guards can do that in the NBA. Like, another example or comparison I could give is like an Isaiah Thomas. Will he be as good as an Isaiah Thomas? I don't know, but he has the effectiveness of an Isaiah Thomas in terms of utilizing the quickness of his body, the shiftiness of his body to get to where he wants on the floor and to be able to finish these contorted layups like this. And then, again, just using that dribble to feed the defender opens up a mid-range shot. Because if the defender didn't respect that shot, that's a bigger defender. He could smother Stevens pretty easily with that size and lateral quickness. But because he respects the shot and you respect his ability to drive, it creates things like finishing down low for bigs. It freezes the hedge guy so he can pull up from drop coverage. Just a really versatile basketball player. And you can see how that versatility sets everything up for players. So I like Isaiah Stevens. As a point of reference, we learned a couple more names that the Sixers were looking at. Bryce McGovern and that Traquan Smith guy. Like, maybe I'm too much of a first impressions guy, but like, I'll put this in perspective. I watched 5 Colorado State games, and in fact, there's more Colorado State games than I want to watch. But when I watch Nebraska or when I just watch NC State, both of those teams finished, below the standings this year, and both Traquan Smith and Bryce McGovern. So I felt like both of them contributed to their poor team's lack of success. McGovern is an elite finisher, an elite, long, lanky body, but just, he's a bit of a chucker. His court vision really isn't there. His defense is terrible. And when Traquan Smith, that's the first real guard the Sixers have been linked to. He's small, he's undersized, shoots 38%, a bit of a chucker. So, none of those two guys. You want to look for guys who actually were productive. Keyword, productive. And if they're in winning situations, that would be even better. So, there are other prospects. I teased you about a prospect, and I'll get his movie out in the next 2 days. But if you had to ask me right now, Traquan Smith of NC State and Bryce McGovern of Nebraska and Isaiah Stevens of Colorado State, I have Stevens higher. He's a low turnover player. He's an elite 3-point shooter. He gets to the line and he can finish at the rim at 6 foot size. Like, I'm sorry. I think he's a better prospect for a pro game. I think his game translates better. That mental toughness, that experience, and just his ability to come through in big moments. Like we saw like 2-3 buzzer beaters in this clip. And just the way he's able to come off these screens and that J.J. Redick action, slicing through the defense right there. Yeah, I think of him as a better basketball player. Now, if there was ever a reason to draft for McGovern, it will be because that silky handles and that length is impressive. But the Sixers, they already did this with Jaden Springer. If you get this pick, or you get a second round pick, you need to be able to hit a home run here. You need to be able to get someone who can play NBA minutes. And that's not McGovern. That's not Turk from NC State. I don't like either of those guys at the next level. But Isaiah Stevens, yeah, this is an example of the kind of player I'm looking at. If I were Daryl Morey right now drafting for the Sixers, I need you to be able to be a free-level scorer. I need you to be able to dribble the ball. And I need you to be effective, whether it's in your conference or out of conference. And that's the thing. You see here Colorado State against New Mexico, and you see some of these other games. And Colorado State made the NCAA tournament. In fact, I think they made it to the second round. So that really is the key there. Your ability to win out-of-conference games, your ability to win games against, teams that may be ranked higher. And we've seen that in the 3-year career of Isaiah Stevens, and that isn't what you saw. Now, both of those guys mentioned were freshmen, but they weren't able to elevate their teams, and that's what you would expect, especially for a one and done. You're going to call yourself a one and done, then you better be able to elevate your team. And from those two prospects the Sphinx is linked to, I just didn't see that. In Turk, I saw a J.R. Smith clone, and I just don't like those players at all. Like, you better be really, really good to be that J.R. Smith type of player. If you're not that good, then, yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. Now, I know that I prefer wingman with our first pick, but I know that we need a backup point guard. I feel like we could steal one. If these point guards like Alondes and like Stevens continue to be underrated, you could buy a second round pick and just snap a guy. There's also Colin Cassipi from Villanova. We'll look at him as well. But yeah, we're going to be focusing largely on wingmen and point guards. His ability to just pull up here and knock down jumper. And I just like how under control he is. There's this side pick and roll right here. He keeps the dribble alive, able to use the pump fake, jump shot. Like, that's a veteran NBA move, Like, NBA veteran guards will pull that out. Here he comes off the dribble handoff again. Those screen action for the free ball. And just that versatility to be able to shoot off the ball and off the catch. The other thing when we think about a guard is that guard has to play with James Harden at times or Tyrese Maxey at times. And so to do that, you better be able to play off the ball and you better be able to make plays for others. Here he's able to pump bait that shot and then fire the jumper. Just an understanding of the shot clock too, which is really impressive. Sorry about that, I accidentally clicked the recording button again. But here you see him run off the screen. He actually set his screen in that action for an open free ball. So he's even willing to mix it up and set some screens himself, and I think that's impressive. And how he's able to try to finish underneath the trees here. Just the effort. That's the other thing that I'm super big on. I'm a guy who really, really needs effort. Because when you're a player, sometimes the ball isn't always going to get to you. Sometimes the play isn't always going to be run for you. So, let's call it the anti-Ben Simmons. Are you going to cry? Are you going to pout? Are you going to let the play affect you? That was the other thing, too. Bryce McGurvin, I think it was, he thought there was a foul call, or was it Turquan Smith? One of those two. They thought there was a foul call in the game, and they were literally standing at the ref beyond the half court while the other team was in transition. I don't need quitters on this ball club. I really don't. And Isaiah Stevens is a warrior, just mixing it up there in the paint, mixing it up as a defender, willing to defend players who are taller than him. So, just that mental toughness. And you need to be mentally tough to play the point guard position. Here he is taking this nice fadeaway shot. And you see the great defense there. And that gets them out and running. And he always has his head up. And that allows him to finish this through contact as well. Here he is at the free throw line too. And I should mention that all 3 years at Colorado State, over 88 to 90% free throw shooting. So it would add to our what our identity is. To get to the line and convert the line at 90%, that's a Sixers skill. And Isaiah Stevens has that ability to convert free throws effectively. Here he is with the great defense again. It forces the miss. And now they're out and running. He catches the ball up high. He can pull this up and he can knock this down. That's the kind of play I would like to have in the Philadelphia uniform. And here he is again in transition. And look at that burst of speed left to right. And one. That's going to be a foul in the NBA. And one reverse layup. And there he is getting a rebound and a jump shot. The game's already over, admittedly, but just the fact that he'll play until the score is 0-0-0, and his ability to shoot the rock like that,